Have you ever considered the possibility that your morning ritual is unintentionally endangering your health? Even though they feel totally normal or healthy, the drinks you choose first thing in the morning if you're over 60 may be doing more harm than you realize. Unbeknownst to you, everyday drinks like packaged fruit juices and sweetened iced coffee may be raising your blood pressure, thickening your blood, and raising your risk of stroke. This movie will show you 5 common morning beverages that directly affect your brain's blood vessels and stroke risk, some of which are harmful and others of which can save your life. You'll learn which to embrace and which to avoid, as well as the one major error that might treble your risk of stroke. One tiny modification to your morning drink might save your brain, safeguard your heart, and improve your life starting tomorrow morning. Please watch this entire video. Before we start, I would appreciate it. You can assist me in spreading the ancient wisdom if you enjoy this video. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. Please leave the first remark if you enjoy this video. Let me know in the first remark if you don't like it so I can create a better video for you. Let's get started. The best flavored iced coffee. Iced coffee sounds like the ideal way to start the day on a warm morning because it's nice and refreshing and has just the proper amount of caffeine to get you going. It's frequently the preferred option for seniors, particularly when sweetened with flavored syrups, whipped cream, or store-bought blends that promise luxury and ease. But despite its seemingly harmless appearance, sweetened iced coffee can actually be a serious stroke risk, especially for people over 60. Why is this well-liked beverage so dangerous? Furthermore, how can you drink coffee without endangering the health of your heart and brain? Sweetened iced coffee's sugar and caffeine combine to seriously harm your cardiovascular system. Blood glucose levels quickly rise when you drink that sugary iced latte or mocha because of its high sugar content. An insulin response brought on by this abrupt spike may cause oxidative damage and inflammation in your blood vessels. In the meantime, the stimulant coffee narrows your blood vessels, raising blood pressure and making your heart work harder. Consuming high-sugar, caffeine-containing beverages in the morning can raise blood pressure by up to 10 millimeters of mercury within the first 2 hours per a 2023 study, published in the Journal of the American Heart Association. Seniors are already more vulnerable to cardiovascular problems like strokes at this crucial period. This combination is especially risky for elderly people since their arteries become less elastic and more vulnerable to injury as they age. Because sugar and caffeine thicken blood, there is a greater chance of a clot forming, which might stop blood flow to the brain and cause an ischemic stroke. Furthermore, a lot of store-bought iced coffee blends and flavored creamers contain concealed salt, which puts additional strain on the heart and arteries. As an illustration, 1 tablespoon of some up to 100 milligrams of salt can be found in commercial coffee creamers, which is important for elderly people with hypertension. These routine behaviors accumulate over time, subtly raising the risk of stroke. More intelligent substitutes. You can still have iced coffee without endangering your health. If it's an essential part of your morning ritual, choose a handmade unsweetened cold brew that you can make ahead of time and keep chilled. For a creamy texture without too much sugar or sodium, add a little unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or coconut milk. Use a natural low glycemic sweetener, such as stevia or monk fruit, sparingly if you need a little sweetness. Steer clear of coffee shop varieties that are overflowing with syrups, whipped toppings, or artificial flavorings because they frequently contain high fructose corn syrup and trans fats, all of which are associated with cardiovascular disease. Useful advice: coffee grinds should be steeped in cold water for 12 to 24 hours before being filtered to make your own cold brew. This technique produces a smoother taste and less acidity. To improve your coffee without adding sugar, try using natural flavor enhancers like vanilla essence or a pinch of cinnamon. Look for hidden sodium sugars or artificial ingredients on the labels of any creamers or milk substitute. The American Heart Association advises seniors to consume no more than 1 8-ounce serving of iced coffee each day in order to maintain their caffeine intake below 200 milligrams. You may safeguard your arteries by implementing these minor adjustments. Lessen inflammation and maintain the flexibility of your blood vessels. Important precautions against strokes after age 60. Instead of a sweet caffeine-fueled assault, your brain deserves a gentle wake-up. The second most popular packaged fruit juice. Many seniors reach for a glass of orange, apple, or grape juice in the morning, thinking it's a healthy way to start the day. However, packaged fruit juices, even those labeled 100% juice or no added sugar, are concentrated sugar bombs that pose a serious risk of stroke for older adults. Fruit juice is frequently marketed as a healthy vitamin pack option. Knowing why certain beverages are harmful and how to switch to healthier alternatives can save lives. Why it's detrimental. In contrast to entire fruits, packaged fruit juices lack fiber, which is essential for reducing the absorption of sugar and safeguarding your heart. For instance, drinking a glass of bottled orange juice contains the same amount of sugar as eating multiple oranges at once. An 8-ounce portion can contain up to 30 grams of sugar. This results in a sharp rise in blood sugar, which sets off an insulin surge and exacerbates blood vessel inflammation. A 2024 study published in The Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology found that regular intake of sugary drinks, including as fruit juices, is linked to a 20% increased risk of stroke in persons over 60, especially when taken in the morning on an empty stomach. Blood pressure also rises as a result of this glucose spike, since the body finds it difficult to handle the unexpected sugars. These frequent spikes cause arteries to stiffen and become more susceptible to plaque accumulation over time, raising the risk of both ischemic strokes brought on by blockages and artery-related hemorrhagic stroke. Breakage. Even natural juices may have preservatives or extra sugars that make the issue worse. For example, high-fructose corn syrup, which is especially detrimental to artery health, is a component of certain commercial apple juice. Better options use whole fruits or handmade blends that preserve fiber and nutrients to sate your desire for a fruity morning drink. For a slow-releasing, high-fiber smoothie, blend a small apple or a handful of berries with water and a spoonful of flax or chia seed. If you like to drink juice, use a juicer to produce it fresh at home and dilute it with water to lower the sugar content. Eat the fruit itself instead. Fiber, antioxidants, and a consistent supply of energy, without taxing your system, are all found in an orange or a bunch of grapes. Useful advice: pick low glycemic fruits, such as apples, pears, or berries, as they have less of an effect on blood sugar than high glycemic fruits, such as pineapples or grapes. To help regulate blood sugar, include a source of healthy fats in your smoothie, such as avocado or a spoonful of nut butter. If you must purchase packaged juice, choose brands that don't contain added sugars or preservatives. For a less sweet beverage, dilute them with sparkling water. The American Heart Association advises seniors to consume no more than 4 to 6 ounces of juice each day. You may preserve your blood vessels by reducing sugar surges and focusing on fiber. Minimize inflammation and make sure your brain receives the consistent flow of nutrients and oxygen it requires to be healthy and alert. To let me know whether you are still viewing this video with me and finding these teachings helpful, please leave the first remark below. I appreciate your time. Third place, diet sodas or sugar-free drinks. Many seniors believe that diet sodas or sugar-free drinks are a wise choice. All the sparkle and flavor of ordinary Coke without the calories or sugar. However, when it comes to the risk of stroke, these artificially sweetened beverages can be even more harmful than their sugary equivalent. According to recent studies, diet sodas and sugar-free drinks can negatively impact your metabolism, blood vessels, and brain, making them dangerous for anybody over. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, or acrylamide potassium, which are intended to replicate the taste of sugar without adding calories, are frequently included in diet sodas and sugar-free beverages. Despite their apparent innocuousness, these substances might cause confusion in your body's metabolic function. According to a 2023 study published in the American Heart Association's Stroke Journal, older persons who regularly drank diet sodas were 25% more likely to experience early cognitive loss and 30% more likely to have an ischemic stroke than those who abstained from. There are several factors at play. Interruption of metabolism. Insulin resistance can develop over time as a result of artificial sweeteners fooling your body into releasing insulin even when there is no real sugar present. This strains blood vessels and causes inflammation, increasing the risk of stroke. Risk of blood clots. Increased platelet activity has been connected to certain artificial sweeteners, especially aspartame, which can incur effects of dehydration due to their diuretic properties. Diet drinks can cause dehydration, particularly when taken in excess. Because dehydration thickens the blood, clots are more prone to develop and obstruct brain arteries. Daily diet soda use has been associated with an increased risk of atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that can increase the risk of stroke in seniors by up to 5 times. According to cardiovascular strain studies, including one published in the Journal of General Internal Medicine, and for elderly people who could already be experiencing age-related changes, these effects are more pronounced in blood pressure regulation or kidney function. Long-term harm can result from consuming even 1 can of Diet Coke daily. Better options: choose sparkling water with a hint of natural flavor, such as crushed berries or fresh lemon lime. If you enjoy the fizziness of soda, herbal teas without sugar that are served cold can also be a cool substitute. To wean yourself off the artificial flavor of diet sodas, try lowering your consumption gradually by combining sparkling water with a tiny bit of your favorite beverage. Useful advice: to prevent metabolic confusion, look for sparkling water without artificial or natural sweeteners added. For For a natural mild taste boost, add a sprig of mint or a slice of cucumber to your water. Drink plain water as your main beverage to stay hydrated. To maintain blood thin and flowing smoothly, aim for 6 to 8 glasses each day, according to your activity level and temperature. To satisfy your sweet need without using artificial sweeteners, consider a small piece of dark chocolate 70% cocoa or higher in place of a diet drink. Your risk of blood clots can be decreased by giving up diet soda. Control your blood pressure and shield your brain from artificial sweeteners' hidden risks. Energy drinks or sports drinks come in at number 4. With eye-catching packaging and audacious claims that appeal to consumers of all ages, energy drinks and sports drinks are aggressively advertised as quick cures for hydration and energy focus. However, these drinks are not only ineffective for seniors, especially those over 6, but they may also be harmful, posing serious risks to neurological and cardiovascular health. The combination of these drinks' ingredients and the physiological changes associated with aging can increase the risk of stroke and compromise general well-being. Seniors' risks from energy drinks. Energy drinks with high caffeine content, especially well-known brands like Red Bull, Monster, or Rockstar, typically contain 80-200 milligrams per serving, which is the same as 1 to 2 cups of strong coffee in a single can. In contrast, the American Cardiac Association advises people to consume no more than 400 milligrams of caffeine per day. However, even smaller dosages may be harmful for elderly individuals who have age-related cardiac function reduction. In addition to raising blood pressure and heart rate, caffeine can cause arrhythmias or irregular heartbeats, which are especially dangerous for older persons who already have illnesses like atherosclerosis or hypertension. Caffeine energy drinks frequently include additional stimulants, such as guarana, taurine, and ginseng. Guarana is a plant extract that contains more caffeine, which intensifies the stimulatory effects of the drink. Although taurine, an amino acid, is promoted as an energy enhancer, little is known about how it affects the aging cardiovascular system and can make heart strain worse when taken in excess. These substances have the potential to overstimulate the sympathetic nervous system, which can result in a fight or flight reaction that narrows blood vessels and lowers blood flow to the brain and other critical organs. This constriction raises the danger of blood clots, which are a major cause of ischemic stroke in seniors whose blood arteries are frequently less elastic due to age-related stiffening arteriosclerosis. The issue is made worse by energy drinks' high sugar content, which is frequently 20 to 40 grams per serving. Blood is spiked by too much sugar glucose levels that harm the blood vessel's inner lining by causing inflammation and endothelial dysfunction. This eventually encourages atherosclerosis, a condition in which plaque accumulation narrows arteries, limiting blood flow to the brain and raising the risk of stroke. Energy drinks can upset blood sugar regulation in seniors with diabetes or prediabetes, a frequent illness in older age, causing a chain reaction of metabolic stress that impacts heart and brain health. Sports drinks are not a safe substitute. Since sports drinks like Gatorade and Powerade are promoted as hydration and electrolyte replacement, they are frequently seen as healthier substitutes. Even though they usually have less caffeine than energy drinks, seniors shouldn't use them. These drinks are designed for athletes who engage in continuous, high-intensity physical activity, not for elderly people who lead sedentary or moderately active lives. Sports drinks can have particular negative effects on seniors since they are heavy in sodium, about 200-300 milligrams per cup, and artificial coloring. Consuming too much sodium can raise blood pressure, which is a significant risk factor for stroke, particularly in elderly people who may already have hypertension or salt sensitivity. According to certain research, the artificial coloring and preservatives included in sports drinks like Red 40 and Yellow 5 have been connected to oxidative stress and inflammation, which over time might harm blood vessels. Furthermore, the same inflammatory and metabolic problems are caused by the sugar content of many sports drinks, which is comparable to that of energy drinks. Despite their claims of hydration, energy and sports beverages can both cause persistent dehydration. For seniors who already have a decreased thirst response and impaired kidney function, the high sugar and sodium content can act as diuretics, drawing water out of cells and increasing urine output, thickening the blood and straining the heart. This can worsen dehydration, impair circulation, and increase the risk of blood clots that can cause a stroke. Why these beverages are bad for older people's hearts and brains? The brain depends on a constant flow of nutrients and oxygen that are carried by blood vessels. Any obstruction to this flow, whether due to a clot or constricted vessels caused by dehydration, formation can cause brain cells to starve, which can result in cognitive decline or disastrous outcomes including stroke. This delicate equilibrium is upset in a number of ways by energy and sports beverages. Elevated viscosity of blood, high blood sugar and sodium levels cause dehydration, which thickens the blood, makes the heart work harder, and increases the risk of clot formation. Vascular stress, blood arteries narrow as a result of caffeine and stimulants, decreasing cerebral blood flow and increasing the risk of stroke. The inflammation atherosclerosis is accelerated and blood vessel linings are damaged by systemic inflammation, which is encouraged by sugar and chemical additives. Unbalanced electrolytes. Although sports drinks promise to replenish electrolytes, their high salt and low potassium concentration can upset the delicate balance required for seniors' heart and muscles to function properly. A more secure option for hydration and energy. Seniors can choose natural, heart and brain-friendly options that offer mild energy boosts and gentle hydration instead of opting for energy or sports beverages. Warm lemon water with a dash of Himalayan pink salt is a great choice. The lemon offers a tiny amount of vitamin C and antioxidant that promotes the health of blood vessels. However, trace elements like potassium and magnesium found in Himalayan salt help regulate electrolytes without oversaturating the system with sodium. Without the dangers of commercial beverages, this straightforward beverage promotes hydration, enhances circulation, and stabilizes blood pressure. Other possibilities include herbal drinks that don't include caffeine, such as peppermint or chamomile tea, which hydrate and calm without raising heart rates. Coconut water is a natural electrolyte supply that has less sugar and sodium than sports drinks, but because it contains natural sugars, it should only be used in moderation. Simple water infused with fruit. Water can be made more appetizing by adding slices of cucumber, mint, or berries without adding any dangerous substances. Useful advice for senior citizens. Examine the label. If you must drink a commercial beverage, carefully study the label to determine the caffeine, sugar, and sodium content. Choose low sugar, and minimally added alternative. Ask your healthcare professional about safe hydration alternatives that are specific to your needs if you have diabetes, hypertension, or heart disease. Steer clear of triggers. Energy drinks can increase cardiovascular strain, therefore avoid them before exertion or stressful situations. Sports and energy drinks are made for younger, more active bodies, not for the special requirements of elderly people. Their gaudy labeling and claims of quick hydration or vitality are deceptive and harmful to developing minds and hearts. Seniors can effectively lower their risk of stroke, maintain adequate hydration, and safeguard their cardiovascular health by giving priority to natural, low-risk options. Please leave a comment in the second section below to let me know if you are still viewing this video and finding these teachings helpful. I appreciate your time. The fifth is completely ignoring the water. Skipping water first is one of the morning routines that can endanger a senior's health. The most important and common error is made first thing in the morning. When the body wakes up from a 7 to 8 hour sleep, it is mildly dehydrated, with thicker blood, lower fluid levels, and impaired cellular activity. This natural nighttime dehydration in seniors over 60 is made worse by age-related changes, making it a subtle but important risk factor for cardiovascular problems, including stroke. Why morning dehydration is so dangerous. Starting the day with coffee, tea, or nothing at all before drinking plain water sets the setup for major health repercussions that can be easily avoided with a simple habit. Even in cool settings, the body loses water as you sleep through respiration and little perspiration. The blood becomes more concentrated due to this fluid loss, thickening its viscosity and making it more difficult for the heart to pump blood effectively. This additional pressure is especially dangerous for elderly people whose cardiovascular systems are frequently less robust because of age-related changes like decreased heart muscle flexibility or constricted arteries. Additionally, thicker blood encourages the development of blood clots, which can obstruct blood flow to the brain and result in an ischemic stroke, the most prevalent kind, making up over 87% of all strokes. The American Stroke Association states that because the brain is made up of roughly 75% water and depends on steady blood flow to carry oxygen and nutrients, it is extremely susceptible to dehydration. Losing merely 1 to 2% of body water due to mild dehydration can affect cognitive function and result in symptoms like brain fog, weariness, and decreased alertness. Elderly stroke risk is increased by dehydration because it weakens blood vessel walls, lowers oxygen delivery to brain cells, and raises the likelihood of microclot. Research indicates that long-term low-grade dehydration increases the risk of stroke in older persons by 2 to 3 times.
especially in those who already have diseases like hypertension or atrial fibrillation. Why elderly people are more at risk? Due to physiological changes brought on by aging, elders are more vulnerable to dehydration and its effects. Diminished indicators of thirst. As people age, the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that controls thirst, becomes less sensitive. Many elderly people do not experience thirst, even when their bodies are very dehydrated. Decreased kidney function. Dehydration worsens when the kidneys become less effective with age, excreting more water and finding it harder to retain it. Effects of medication. Many elderly people take drugs such as diuretics for heart failure or hypertension or antihistamines that cause thirst or fluid loss. Long-term ailments. Diabetes and heart disease, which are prevalent in older persons, raise fluid requirements and make maintaining proper hydration more difficult. These vulnerabilities are increased when water is skipped in the morning, resulting in a protracted state of dehydration that puts stress on the heart and brain. It's similar to attempting to operate a vehicle engine without oil. When the system overheats, parts deteriorate and eventually. The science behind preventing strokes with morning water. Consuming a tire glass. A straightforward yet effective practice that immediately tackles these dangers is drinking 8 to 12 ounces of room temperature water first thing in the morning. This is how it operates. Restores fluid equilibrium. Water lowers the risk of clot formation by thinning the blood, lowering viscosity, and lessening the burden on the heart. Increases blood flow. Hydration improves blood flow to the brain and eases the burden on aging arteries by widening blood channels. Eliminates toxins. Drinking water in the morning helps the kidneys remove metabolic waste that builds up during the night, which lowers oxidative stress and inflammation. Improves mental performance. Maintaining adequate hydration promotes brain cell activity, which enhances mood, focus, and memory, all of which are frequently compromised in dehydrated conditions. Since cold water can narrow blood vessels, and warm water is kinder to the digestive tract and promotes absorption, room temperature water is the best option. Steer clear of adding acidic or sugary additives, such as universal juice, as these might raise blood sugar levels and counteract some of the advantage. Building the habit of drinking water in the morning. Have a glass of water on hand so that drinking it in the morning becomes a natural part of your routine. The night before, put a glass or bottle of water beside your nightstand so you can easily drink it when you wake up. Make a note. Use a sticky note or phone alarm to remind you until the habit becomes second nature. Keep a record of your intake. To stay hydrated, aim for 8 to 12 ounces first thing in the morning, and then take tiny sips throughout the day, depending on your level of activity and health. 5 to 2 L each day. See your physician for individualized advice if you have diseases like kidney disease or heart failure that call for fluid limit.
Why elders need to know this now. More than ever, over 7 to 95,000 strokes occur in the U.S. each year, making it a major cause of mortality and disability among the elderly. The CDC states that dehydration is a controllable risk factor that is frequently disregarded. Seniors can greatly lower their risk of stroke, enhance cognitive function, and promote general health by making morning water a priority. This simple, free habit has enormous advantages, making it the best morning ritual for safeguarding the heart and aging brain. And there you have it, people. The real story of how morning beverages might subtly increase your risk of stroke after the age of 60, as well as easy changes you can do to safeguard your heart and brain. These minor adjustments, like giving up sweetened iced coffee and starting your day with a glass of plain water, can have a profound impact. What surprised you the most about what you learned from this video? Perhaps it's the impact of that first glass of water, or the risk of packaged fruit juices. We would adore hearing from you. Please leave a comment below with one item you learned today that you plan to implement tomorrow. Please leave a comment below if you enjoyed seeing this video. For more senior health advice to keep you thriving, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.